Newcastle United 1, Chelsea 0 here at St James's Park this evening. Business as usual for Eddie Howe's side, which seems ridiculous to say. To be honest, wins against Chelsea usually would go down as season highlights, certainly in recent campaigns, but it's just par for the course for Eddie Howe's side now. They're going against these top teams and proving they are one of them, certainly based on the opening 15 games so far. It's 5 wins in a row now, 10 games unbeaten. They'll be third going into the World Cup break, third at Christmas. It's hard to find any faults really. Newcastle, you go into this game almost expecting them to get something, expecting a win almost, which against Chelsea sounds a bit odd, sounds a bit ridiculous almost, but that's the level Newcastle are playing at the moment, and they really took the game to Chelsea from the first minute. The pressure, the intensity really sort of, I wouldn't say caught Chelsea off guard, but it certainly put them on the back foot for the majority of the game. It was a slightly under-strength Chelsea side, it has to be said, but Newcastle certainly were good value for the win. The push Chelsea arguably could have been ahead, should have had a penalty actually in the first half. Trevor Chalobah handled the ball, but nothing given for that. They finally did take the lead. Miguel Almiron, one of those great direct runs, edge of the box, just like when you think he's about to shoot, Joe Willock almost nicks the ball off him. Instinctive finish into the top right hand corner, and that ultimately gave Newcastle the lead and the 3 points. So yeah, great, another great evening day at St James's Park, and the question now is just how far can Newcastle go? They're heading into this World Cup break, which you could say is coming at a bad time, but this start to the season, I'll throw some stats at you. This is only the third time Newcastle have ever broken 30 points inside the opening 15 games of the Premier League season. The 95-96 season and the season before that, the only 2 times they've done it previously. So that 95-96 season, arguably Newcastle's best season, or worst almost, depending on who you ask, because they came within touching distance of the Premier League title. And this, based on 15 games, it has to be said, is probably as good as, well, statistically, is as good as it's been since then. St James's Park is an absolute fortress. You're going into games just not expecting Newcastle to lose, and yeah, the atmosphere has been unbelievable. The team are playing unbelievably well. The intensity is brilliant. What Eddie Howe's done, you just run out of superlatives for it. I'm gushing over this team, has to be said, but I was speaking to my colleague George Colkin after the game, and was sort of saying you're almost expecting something to go wrong, like when is this going to end? And that's the question, just how high can Newcastle go? Previous seasons where things have collapsed, Newcastle aren't a club used to success and continued positive feelings really. You're almost in the back of your mind expecting that collapse, and it's so far not coming. If it will come, we don't know, but certainly you've got to enjoy this ride while Newcastle are on it. And why can't Newcastle get into the top 4 this season? They've certainly shown in 15 games, which is almost half of the Premier League season, they've played all the top teams with the exception of Arsenal, and pretty much outplayed Chelsea today. They outplayed Tottenham, they outplayed Manchester United for large parts of the game, and Manchester City before the second half, obviously being under a little bit of pressure those games. And Liverpool, they sort of took the game to Liverpool as well for a good portion of the game. So they're showing they are top side in the Premier League, and yeah, it's just you almost just how far can this side go? When's it going to end? Obviously now we're going in third in the table. Now only a couple games, and then it's the January transfer window. So it's only upwards from here in terms of strengthening the squad. It's just, can Eddie Howe maintain that momentum over this World Cup break, and come Boxing Day, can they keep the momentum going away to Leicester City, who are probably another team who didn't want the World Cup break to come, given the sort of turnaround they've had in recent weeks as well. So yeah, I said after the game, the way the Newcastle fans sort of circled the pitch and fought and showed real passion, after the Chelsea players sort of let the emotions get the better of them at the end, and sort of did a lap of honour, the Newcastle players. I'm biased, but I don't think there's probably a better place to be watching football in the Premier League, or even in the country at the moment. So unbelievable. I'm rambling on once again, but Newcastle winning, it came so used to Newcastle losing and being depressed and not being enjoying it. But yeah, you got to take it while it's here. And yeah, brilliant from Newcastle today, third in the Premier League, and just how high can they go?